here we are for another show. Oh my god, that rhymed. Let me show you some pages in this issue, okay? Let's take a trip down memory lane. This is some pretty hotsy-totsy stuff. What the heck is going on here? And then the usual cutaway exposition explaining like the origin of these mermaids and the whole worlds of worlds upon worlds and more lunacy. And then to action. So this is what's going on. These mermaids have these little hooks that come out of them. And then she's kind of breaking into his manosphere. And so what then? Well, he changes his suit into like an underwater superhero. But suddenly gets saved by a trad wife, Angel. And then this happens, and then that happens. And now they're getting jiggy with it. Cut away to a totally different situation. You know what WNGHAF stands for? If you do, you just got 1,000 Kent points. I will send you 1,000 points. And here we have a guy, and you probably know that guy right there. Hotep, and because we're not racist, and Keck. So there's a lot of, and then little Frogger over here, Groiper Frogger. But suddenly, Uberchad is on the phone, and Tradcat and him don't get along. So they have an argument. But there's some serious shit going down. There's a monster come to destroy the world. We have to set our differences aside. Mr. White going hard as... and then he goes, all right, I'm listening. And then get a little montage of our villains, cartoon villains, and a serious outro to that. Not quite outro, it's not over yet. A little more Zibby Zabby Zoo, and then Tradcat transforms from an ordinary America First vlogger into a sort of like a werewolf man-cat, because he's Trad-cat. Get it? Trad-cath, like Trad-Catholic, Trad-cat. If you're into memes, you would understand the humor of this. So shut up about it. No. Today, there was a dude coming over to do some housework for me. And young guy, I'm gonna say, 26 or so. And he was in the house, and he's like, I saw your artwork. Like, man, wow, dude, it's really good. And so I was like, well, let's look through the pages and this and that. And I said, you know what? I'll just show you the new Delphi animation. That's sort of like a commercial. You guys in the chat, say hi so I know who's here. Anyway, I said, hey, check out the commercial. And so I took him to the new Delphi media.com and showed him the animation that has, like 100 characters and kind of like the little story about, what is this about, And so it's a great video. It's got some great CGI animation on it and stuff, and it's just really beautifully done. I don't know if I can say the name of the guy who does it. He's a well-known character in our circles, but he's also very autistic about his privacy, so I'm not gonna betray his trust. Maybe some, when if he decides to come out of the shadows, but he's kind of like an animation AI genius. We got a pretty amazing guy on our team, and possible future developments with him and these comics. We'll let the Norns decide. Do you know who the Norns are? If you were a pagan, you would know. I don't really like the term pagan, but like an Odinist or an Asatru, something of that nature. So, here we go, and now you know. And there it is, forevermore. Wow. I like that. I think that's a pretty powerful, pretty compelling image. Just about to chop this homo in half. Slice. Anyway, what do you want me to say? He's Treadcat. It's what he does. Oh shit. Okay. So I like these. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. I kind of like these close-ups because his suit's made of gold. So it's like the Silver Surfer, but gold, And the Silver Surfer is one of my all-time favorite characters. I freaking love that character. But it's tricky to show like the reflective quality of the suit, the metallic quality of the suit. So you have to kind of imagine that, where would the light be on the face and stuff. It's just an interesting challenge. Muy interesante. See, I'm multicultural. I'm not racist. Anyway, we're moving on. We are wrapping up this page. It's funny because this panel here is like, I'm using these kind of circles to be like, show like phone rings, he picks it up. Oh, shit, it's Uber Chad. I hate that guy. And then there's Uber Chad. But what's all this? Like dead space. Well, that's where the damn word balloons go. Okay, so shut up about it, all right? My guy who does the coloring, he usually puts something in there that has like texture, and the art style of this book really lets him shine, to be honest with you. It's a very colorful book. I think that's going to be part of the appeal. No, this is not a serious like tragedy drama. It's a tongue-in-cheek comedy action, a little bit of romance in there. Definitely a deeper subtext to it, but it's mainly a kind of a spoof in the superhero genre. So I think being really colorful is good. I think that's part of the aesthetic of the idea. I would say so. What do you guys think? Two people watching. What do you think? Because your opinion matters. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Can you guys hear the music in the background? Oh my god, we got our first thumbs up for this video. I appreciate that. I think these, stupidly I didn't even announce on my platforms that I'm going live, so whoever comes to watch the show it's because fate chose you. The Norns have chosen you. Whenever I talk about, like, things like the Norns. I feel all pagan, and kind of I feel like I'm in the movie The Northman by Robert Eggers. You guys see that film? It's one of my favorite films. If you have not seen it, then you have one chance to redeem yourself. You must go see it, otherwise, we cannot be friends. And I'll tell mom on you. No, it's a good. It's a, more than a good film. It's freaking incredible. It based on true history. The excuse me. The Robert Eggers had actual Norse pagan mythology historians on set, making sure that all of the clothing and the housing and the thising and the thating were all historically accurate to the time, which is quite astounding. Yeah. So quite literally, like the boats and the houses, the clothing, the tools, this and that and whatever is totally authentic. So it's pretty cool stuff. I like that. I like, movies that go the extra 100 miles to be authentic, to the time. That's really cool. I'm a big fan of like period pieces. Excuse me. Of any kind, like I was just thinking of Gangs of New York. I don't think that's the greatest film. Of course, I like Daniel Day-Lewis. He's one of the greatest actors of all time. Half Jewish, half Irish. It's a weird combo. But definitely one of my all-time favorite actors. He actually caught pneumonia making that film, that because he wanted to kind of like dress in the period. And, other people were, had clothing underneath in the summer. Sorry, there's a scene in the winter where there's a big kind of fight scene at the end of the movie. And he chose not to dress properly for it and caught pneumonia. Pretty cray-cray. That's called commitment, folks. Are you that committed to your art? You fuck. You better be, or I'm gonna come over there and punch you. Right in the nose. I'd say I'm pretty committed to my art. That goes for yes. I'm gonna give that a big old yes. You don't do pretty much thousands of hours of art like I have throughout my entire life if you don't have a commitment. It's not the kind of thing you have a commitment to. That's the wrong way to frame it. It's, in a way, you can kind of say it's a lifestyle, but it's just you being you. It's really just, you're just being true to yourself, Like, wow, man. It's so deep. Sorry, sometimes I like mock myself. I hope that's okay with you guys. It's all in good fun, I'm not trying to hurt anyone. No Donald Kents were injured in the making of this video. Oh, that's weird. We got this cat guy. I mean, honestly, like a real human frog, like how terrifying would that be? I just saw what looks like the first possible photo of a reptilian alien. I can't totally buy it. I'm not, convinced that that's real, but it's the most convincing image I've ever seen yet, though. I don't really have like a dog in that fight. What are you gonna do? Had a very, very, very good meetup with a close friend today, who is an old friend who there's very few people in my life that I would consider like mentors, spiritual advisors, and this guy is one. He's definitely one. So talking with him is always like pretty serious. It's a pretty big deal, you know. He's got a heart of gold. Anyway, we had a really fantastic conversation, and he's in the movement. He's red pilled. He knows what's going down. He knows about the JQ. Do you? 3 people watching, but not commenting. Anyone in the chat know what is the JQ? If you know what it is, put it in the comments section. What does JQ stand for? Anyway, we'll get back to that story I started. So this kid came over to do some housework. Oh God, my freaking battery's going low. Here we go. Anyway, and so I showed him the video commercial for this comic, and he was like, "That is gonna blow up. That is lit. That's gonna blow up." So it felt really good to kind of give it like a test on it, just a random stranger. And he's young. He's a gamer, you know. He's into that kind of YouTube culture, and he knows all about memes and stuff, you know. And I was showing him the characters in the story, and he was laughing because, you know, of course, he got the joke. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. That's very cool. So I think the animation did a huge job in like promoting the book and the whole concept. You know, it's pretty powerful. That's right. Well, we are in like synthwave heaven here, aren't we? Pretty good tunes. Yeah, man, I am on quite a trajectory with all kinds of cool stuff in life. I know it'll all come together in its time. There's a lot going on in terms of getting things in order. I still have a lot to organize. But I am almost done with this. Hello, Mr. Colovat, the coolest young guy that I know. Were you here a moment ago when I was talking about the dude that saw the commercial for New Delphi Media for this comic? I don't know if you were here when I just posted that. But I don't even know if you guys have seen it. You can go to newdelphi.com and you can see an animation. of the of this comic book. So, and it's like a kind of a commercial, where it talks about like the origins of the story and what's it all about and da 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 da. So New Delphi Media dot com. New Delphi. Delphi is DELPHI. And you can open another browser and pop that on. And you shall be delighted. Your life will never be the same. You shall have total enlightenment. Oh wait, I remember. Did you see it? Oh yeah. It's not quite the angle I need. Maybe this one. That's not. I gotta do it freehand. So what's going on, Kolovrat? How are you? How was your day today? Did you meet any beautiful women or wrestle any tigers or find the gold at the end of the rainbow? Did you start a revolution? Wow, man, that was deep. Start a revolution. What do we got here? Well, I finished page 17 and just started 18 now. And this is your book that you're writing, correct? You got a book? I believe you do. Have you published already, buddy? Because I know people. I can get you hooked up. I got a guy. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, how you doing? Where you been? I got a guy. In fact, I got a couple of guys. Yep, good. Okay. And are you in the UK as well? For some reason, I think like you're in the UK, but I don't know why I said that. I haven't published any, though I have one story. Okay. And what are your stories about? What's your world? What is your world view? Yeah, I'm American. Oh, okay. Okay. I have a lot of UK fans just based on some of the publishing stuff I've done and different content that crosses over into the UK audience. I'm like an Anglophile. I love my UK friends. When I say UK, I really mean English. Because I don't think of Scotland and Northern Ireland as English, but they always call themselves UK, so I'm like, okay, I'll do that, if that's what you want. If you're not, you should look up Mark Collette, Patriotic Alternative, and he is the top voice of nationalism in the UK that is, doing programming for stopping white genocide in the UK and all that. It's not like we talk all the time, but I would consider him a friend. We've done shows and I've interviewed him. He's interviewed me. That kind of stuff. And he's just like one of the most important people out there. So like, I really see the movement. It's not just, there's this thing they call petty nationalism, which is the idea that like you should only care about what's going on in your country, when this is a pan-European crisis, that's happening everywhere. So, of course, things are off the charts in Europe, and they've been horrendous for a very long time. Things are starting to finally form, like the anti-Muslim movement is starting to finally take shape in America, starting off in Dearborn, Michigan. The feds are now in there making arrests of Muslims, because I guess it's like a sting operation for terrorists that are, preparing to bomb areas and shit like that. It's the usual fuckery from these savages. So I'm happy to say that for once I don't have anything bad to say about the intelligence agencies, that they're doing their damn jobs right. I'm sorry, that's a little rough, but you know how it is. I mean, all I have to say is Charlie Kirk, and you'll know what I mean. I mean, that's just one of many. JFK, Charlottesville, on and on. Huge fan of ICE these days, too. They're killing it out there. Doing a great job with their arrests. Oops, sorry, I'm off screen. Well, the themes in my stories are either God, Family Nation, or MGTOW stuff. Whoa. So, what's the score with the MGTOW, bro? I mean, I get it. I know what MGTOW is, but I just kind of have to throw it out there that, like, I feel like MGTOW is doing the work of our enemies, because it's dysgenic, meaning stopping men and women from breeding, which is another front on the anti-white war. I think that there's other more positive realms or spheres out there on the internet for men. There's a lot of relationship coaches and that kind of thing. Hold on. Shut up. Okay. There's a guy named Rollo Tomasi, Rollo Tomasi, the illimitablemale.org, illimitable male. Strongly urge you to check out his content, his work. Here's the trick. It's like, we don't need to run away and isolate ourselves from women. We simply need to understand the truth of their psychology, and then walk accordingly. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely something that I'm well aware of. I've educated myself on. When I was going through my divorce, I was researching how to get full custody, and I stumbled across this whole world of like men's rights websites and groups, where I discovered Rollo Tomasi. And so he's not the only one. There's a lot out there, and a lot of these guys are, there's a dimension of like the bang bros, like how to get a chick in the sack, step one, blah blah blah, So like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking more in terms of gosh, just it's so funny because like there's a couple that I follow online, but I can't think of their names as usual. Shit. There's one guy that does these drawings, and he talks about like your kind of value on a certain chart of like, how women see you and what they want, and you consider yourself like, oh, is she a 1 to 10 or is he a 1 to 10, and all of the kind of the psychology that goes into that, and then coming up with a strategy as to how to approach that in the dating world. And it's very wise. It's very, very wise. It's kind of like if you treated dating like the stock market and you went at it with the same clinical view, which is very dispassionate. But, it's just, it's got to be done. It's just like if you don't want to be murdered emotionally, then you got to do it. You got to understand, like, this is the nature of women, and it's not the same as us. The idea of sort of running away and being bitter about it is not the healthy option. So I urge you to kind of look into those things that I'm talking about. But God, family, and nation in that order is exactly the core tenets of fascism. And, I know everybody listening to this is going, what? Huh? What? That's not what they told me, though. Nobody actually understands the true history and ideology of fascism, which is just one version of what's called third position. Hey there, Jay Bishop is here. How we doing? What's going on, Jay Bishop? You living large? Anyway, here we are. We're doing another page. We're getting close to the end, guys. We're getting close to the end of this. Pretty amazing, huh? And then I'm going to start up a new show in January that's going to be an arts variety show with guests, media, music. Just stop by. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I appreciate it. It's nice to have you here. Thank you so much. What's new in your world, Jay Bishop? What do you got going down? What is new? So, what else? What was I just talking about? Yeah, so been thinking quite a lot of obviously about the media show, getting that going. I'll be on Millennial Woes Christmas show, and I'll make some big announcements on that. If you guys know, Millennial Woes is one of the top influencers in the dissident right. His Christmas show is really one of the important shows for announcing new talent and new projects and various things that are going on in the movement. So that's definitely something to look up and get on your radar. My battery is going to die very shortly. I did not charge my damn phone before the show. So that means I'm about to flop in a minute here. So I'll just kind of go for a little bit longer. Well, or not. It's on like 1%. So why don't I say good night to my fair friends, and God bless you. Thank you for coming. And I will do more shows very soon. I've decorated everything Christmas already. I've been cooking and baking, just normal things, I suppose. Thank you for asking. Excited for you, Mr. Ken. I love your work. Well, I love you. And I'm coming over to get some of those Christmas cookies. All right, God bless. I'm going to recharge my phone and maybe come back. But I love you guys. We'll see you on the next show. All right. Hugs. All right. I hate YouTube, I know. Okay, cheers, guys. See you soon. Bye bye.